The Holy Gospel according to John. Glory to you, O Lord. Now a certain man was ill, Lazarus of Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha. Mary was the one who had anointed the Lord with perfume and wiped his feet with her hair. Her brother, Lazarus, was ill. So the sisters sent a message to Jesus, "Lord, he whom you love is ill." But when Jesus heard it, he said, "This illness does not lead to death. Rather, it is for God's glory, so that the Son of God may be glorified through it." Accordingly, though Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus, after having heard that Lazarus was ill, he stayed 2 days longer in the place where he was. Then after this, he said to the disciples, "Let us go to Judea again." The disciples said to him, "Rabbi, the Jews were just now trying to stone you, and are you going there again?" Jesus answered, "Are there not 12 hours of daylight? Those who walk during the day do not stumble because they see the light of this world, but those who walk at night stumble because the light is not in them." After saying this, he told them, "Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I am going there to awaken him." The disciples said to him, "Lord, if he has fallen asleep, he will be all right." Jesus, however, had been speaking about his death, though they thought that he was referring merely to sleep. Then Jesus told them plainly, "Lazarus is dead. For your sake I am glad I was not there, so that you may believe, but let us go to him." Thomas, who was called the Twin, said to his fellow disciples, "Let us also go, that we may die with him." When Jesus arrived, he found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb 4 days. Now Bethany was near Jerusalem, some 2 miles away, and many of the Jews had come to Martha and Mary to console them about their brother. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went and met him, while Mary stayed at home. Martha said to Jesus, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now I know that God will give you whatever you ask of him." Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." Martha said to him, "I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day." Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. Those who believe in me, even though they die, will live, and everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this?" She said to him, "Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, the one coming into the world." When she had said this, she went back and called her sister Mary and told her privately, "The teacher is here and is calling for you." And when she heard it, she got up quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet come to the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. The Jews who were with her in the house consoling her saw Mary get up quickly and go out. They followed her because they thought that she was going to the tomb to weep there. When Mary came where Jesus was and saw him, she knelt at his feet and said to him, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her also weeping, he was greatly disturbed in spirit and deeply moved. He said, "Where have you laid him?" They said to him, "Lord, come and see." Jesus began to weep. So the Jews said, "See how he loved him." But some of them said, "Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying?" Then Jesus, again greatly disturbed, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone was lying against it. Jesus said, "Take away the stone." Martha, the sister of the dead man, said to him, "Lord, already there is a stench, because he has been dead 4 days." Jesus said to her, "Did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone. And Jesus looked upward and said, "Father, I thank you for having heard me. I knew that you always hear me, But I have said this for the sake of the crowd standing here, so that they may believe that you sent me." When he had said this, he cried with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out." The dead man came out, his hands and feet bound with strips of cloth, and his face wrapped in a cloth. Jesus said to them, "Unbind him and let him go." Many of the Jews, therefore, who had come with Mary and had seen what Jesus did, believed in him. The gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. Lazarus was dead, to begin with. There is no doubt whatever about that. Lazarus was, in a Dickensian turn of phrase, as dead as a doornail. Lazarus is dead, Jesus says plainly. Dead for 4 days, John tells us. A not insignificant detail, perhaps an allusion to Jewish rabbinic tradition that taught that the spirit hovers near the body for 3 days. And so now on day 4, all hope is emphatically lost. Can these bones live? Obviously not. Lazarus is dead. Then again, that's just the way it is, right? Things break down. People break down. We don't live forever, and eventually we die. Isn't that where this whole Lent thing started? Remember that you are dust, and to dust you shall return. At the onset of acclaimed Broadway musical Maybe Happy Ending, 2 retired helper bots, Oliver and Claire, struggle with their own mortality of sorts and the inevitability of obsolescence. Living in an apartment complex for retired helper bots, Oliver and Claire initially seek to cope with the reality that they have essentially been abandoned by their humans, discarded for newer models. One day, a charger malfunction brings Claire to Oliver's door for a favor. Can she borrow his? And a confession, as Claire plainly and matter-of-factly names her own condition and their shared reality as robots of becoming obsolete. It's the way that it always was. You should know by now. The body does what it always does. Things will break somehow. You should know by now. You only last so long. You know you're only made so well. And you'll be gone eventually. Because that's the way that it has to be. Even so, the confession doesn't make the reality any easier. Lazarus is dead, Jesus says plainly, after waiting 2 days when he found out that Lazarus was ill. That's always been a perplexing, if not frustrating, detail. Why did Jesus wait? What was he waiting for? Why didn't he go immediately? Or was it that he couldn't go? Couldn't confront the inevitability of decline? Things will break somehow. You should know by now. Couldn't face the hard truth that his friend whom he loved was ill and probably dying. There's a certain comfort in that interpretation, to see a Jesus honestly struggling with the same grief, the same worries, the same fears that we do. The same Jesus who finally, at the home of his beloved friend, is so moved, greatly disturbed in spirit by the outpouring of grief among those weeping that he himself begins to weep. And in that grief does a strange thing. Take away the stone, he insists, which seems like a really, really, really bad idea. And in a loud voice cries out, "Lazarus, come out." I wonder what he thought would happen. Did he actually think Lazarus would come back? Or was he stuck in the stages of grief as we often are, somewhere in between denial and bargaining. Lazarus was dead until he wasn't. It's a miracle, or is it? Because here's the quiet part out loud. Lazarus will one day die again, this time for good. Where's the happy ending in that? As the plot of the musical progresses, Oliver and Claire embark on a road trip under the guise of being a human couple on vacation to get around the travel restrictions for helper bots. And they make up their own imagined love story, promising to never let it happen for real, except as you might suspect it does. Though their love is ultimately tempered by the very thing that prompted their initial connection. Claire's functionality is failing, and they know that their relationship is limited and won't last forever. When they ultimately choose to erase their memories of one another, as robots can do, instead of facing the certain grief of seeing the other shut down for good, while poignant, it is not tragic. The ending's not the most important part, Oliver sings, but as endings go, ours is not so bad. No tears, no regret, no broken hearts, and sure, no memories of what we had, but maybe letting go and moving on before we make a mess. Is that a happy ending? More or less? There is no miraculous resurrection here, as Oliver and Claire accept the reality that they will inevitably one day shut down for good. But there is life. Oliver and Claire come to the realization that their relationship now is what matters. Their connection that they found matters. Choosing love despite the risk. If we have to have an ending, they sing to each other, is this our maybe happy ending? If the miracle of John 11 were only the raising of Lazarus, it's pretty bleak. Because, of course, Lazarus will one day die again, and what then? There's not much of a happy ending in that. The miracle of John 11 is not the raising of Lazarus. It's life, here and now. It's worth noting that the actual raising of Lazarus in all 45 verses is only 2 at the very end. It's almost like maybe that part isn't the point. And it's also worth noting that there is more to the Lazarus story. In the very next chapter, Lazarus is seen reclining around the dinner table with Jesus. Lazarus' resurrected life draws him into a deeper relationship with Jesus, here and now. As one commentary puts it, the promise of resurrection goes beyond the resurrection. As Lazarus' story reveals, the resurrection invites us into the kind of abundant life that Jesus promises here and now. And it makes possible a kind of deep, abiding belonging with Jesus and with the community of Jesus' friends and followers. It's true, death isn't the last word, and as amazing as that is on its own, neither is resurrection. The last word is life. The ending's not the most important part. It's how we live here and now, choosing love despite the risk, taking risks and pressing on, reaching out and speaking up, until all can know and abide in the love of the one who loves us and raises us to life.